All right, we're gonna have Ms. Hap to begin our assistant superintendent of business, do the budget presentation. You wanna? Talk to the
Better? Is it still echoing? All right, he's looking for a clicker. That's okay. I'll talk about a few things before we get to the clicker part. So I presented the budget now. This will be my third time. Not a lot has changed, but I want to put some things or preface some things. As most of you may or may not know, the governor and the legislative body have not approved a budget for the state. What does that mean for us? Not really a lot. From what I'm hearing from all the people that I know with their ear to the ground, both the Assembly and the Senate also wanted to increase foundation aid to schools, just like the governor. So the likelihood of us having more in foundation aid is high and very unlikely we wouldn't. So that is the only area that would be affected by the state budget. So we're going to go forward with what the original governor's budget was at this time. If we get more, it'll go towards our fund balance, just like it has in the past. If we get less, we'll make adjustments to our spending. You can find the next while he's getting that. All right, just to bring us all back to center, why we are here, why do we have a budget? It's our mission, our vision, and we're here for students. I won't read it for you because we've seen it before, but that's why we're here. What do we support? Student programs. These are the different things that we've been working on to make sure we can continue to support and integrate into our budget as we go forward. So I changed this to say projected because this is what we are presenting as a recommendation for the board to adopt. We start projecting 80,470,116, which is an increase of about 2.32. We did have some late breaking expenses that I mentioned the last time I presented. Those are still the same. And our revenue projections are still the same as well. So then we look at our breakdown of the budget summary, our projected expenditures, as we said on the slide before, and then our revenues. What does that include? It includes our property tax levy, which the board has approved for me to go forward with the 4.16% increase. That is captured here. So this is 4.16% higher than last year, which is yielding about $1.8 million, almost $2 million. Our state aid, which is obviously estimated. Again, like I said at the beginning, the governor's budget is what we utilized. And then other miscellaneous things are going to be things like interest on taxes collected, tuition, and things of that nature. For a total projected revenue of $76 million, which leaves us a gap or a shortfall of about $4 million. And we're proposing to use appropriated fund balance, so leftover savings from this year, and about $1 million, which is $400,000 less than last year, or this current year, 24-25, in reserves, which will get us to a zero deficit.
Can I just ask a question? Do you mind putting you on the spot? So if you don't know, just let me know. I just wondered, what was the increase of 1.8 million? What expenditures were like the largest expenditures for that?
Are you talking about on?
Oh, no, that's property tax, right?
Are you talking about this increase?
Yes.
The 2.32, the increase in expenditures? That's going to be primarily our salaries.
Salary.
Yep, contractual obligations.
Thank you.
Yep. So this is the state aid that was projected. The middle column is going to present what the governor had presented to us in January. Again, these numbers may change a little bit. I will say as an aside in some preliminary projections that I was able to utilize through some of our state agencies that help support us to project. Our building aid that we have captured at a higher rate does in fact show a higher rate when we get to our final state aid numbers. So we will see this increase Not as bad, not as high as this, but we won't see as low as that. To bring everybody back to remember, why is this highlighted? We did our $64 million project. It's not entirely complete. The documentation that we completed was completed in December. These numbers are based on numbers we reported to the state in November. So that month difference didn't allow for it to be captured here. Therefore, we used our, you can't see that here, but Rick Timms Incorporated is our final or fiscal advisors. They look at all of our debt and project out what we would get in state aid, and this is their number based on submitting of the final cost reports in December. This is our property tax cap calculation. There's a lot of factors that go into it. We have our growth factor. So up here, you may not notice, up here, this is our current year tax levy, what we levied in 24-25. We grow it by 2.24%. That is set by the state, brings us to the 45 million. We add in the pilots that we received this current year and subtract out the exclusions we had last year to get our base to grow by our 0.2%, 0.02%. Gets us here, minus our pilots we're expecting. Pilots are payments in lieu of taxes, therefore it comes out of the tax levy, reduces it. Add in our this year's exclusions, which are a little bit higher because we have a little bit more debt on the books. Brings us to our allowable increase of 46,718,816, which is a change of 1.8 or almost $2 million, 4.16. That's what's behind this box. For the people in the room, you can't see it. People on the TV might be able to. What does that mean to the taxpayer? That's what the bottom line is, right? What does this mean for me? I live in the town of Marbletown. I don't actually, but if I did, and my tax rate in 24-25 was 19.327673. My annual taxes would have been $5,798 on a $300,000 assessed home, fully assessed home with current equalization rates. Equalizations rate helps to make it fair for everybody. No exemptions are considered in these numbers. If I increase that by the 4.16, your new tax rate will be 20.132008 approximately, which will bring you to $6,000 on a $300,000 house, which is an annual change of $242, broken down by the month, about $20 a month. What makes up our expenditures? Kind of what you were asking me earlier. What is probably my most prized thing to say and thing we should always tout is 75% of our budget goes to program. 75% of our budget is supporting students. The other percentage supports administrative and our debt. This is the breakdown of the three parts: program component, what it includes. As you can see across the board, total program increase is 3%, which is less than the 2.2 or higher than the 2.32. It's because we look at all three parts together. The program is what's driving our increase though. Here you'll see a negative 1%. This includes also our buildings and grounds and anything that has to do with our facilities. And then this is our central services, instructional supervision, curriculum, and employee benefits for those people in those realm. And that's a 5% increase. These are our reserve balances. As I mentioned earlier, we are proposing to use $1 million out of reserves to help support the gap. In this current year, we put out for 1.4 million out of these reserves. Once that money has been utilized in the 24-25 year, this is what the projected balance is remaining. If we take out the money as suggested, we'll have $1 million left. I'll point out that there was another presentation where I had a lower number here. These numbers are what was on our financial statements published on our website.
Just to clarify, so you don't mean we'll have $1 million left. It means we're taking $1 million this year. It means we'll have about 15 million left.
Correct.
Okay.
We have 16 million to start in July. We're gonna take $1 million out. My intention, however, is if we have more left over, we would put back into reserves. That will be at the next budget and audit committee meeting. I want to put out a plan for the reserves.
That's my question.
And you're still, sorry, Dawn.
No, that's fine.
You're still anticipating that we'll have a pretty healthy fund balance at the end of this year,
Correct.
5 million roughly? 4.5?
Yes, just about. Mhm.
Thank you.
We're using 3 of it to support the budget, and I don't project us to have that in the 25, 26 school year, so we'll have to make different conversations as we get to it, but this is where we're starting.
And if we get additional foundation aid, then that will go back to the fund balance, you're saying?
Correct, and we would roll that into the 25, 26 budget. Mhm. Yep, we'll make adjustments as we see money moving, for sure. Oops, sorry. So we're making it pretty far in our budget timeline. We're getting there. This is where we are today. And we have just about a few weeks left and then we'll be voting on our budget. So as long as the board adopts this evening, we will keep moving forward. Any questions? Other than what I've already heard?
No, I would just like to reiterate, thank you, to you, to Paul, to the administration. I know that this is a challenge. And we thank you very much for putting it together, having it ready early, enough for us to meet today. And really the clarity that you've projected in this each time. Thank you.
I'm glad. I'm
But
glad.
to add to that, I mean, I think the fact that we have had, what, 3 meetings already where we've gone through this level of detail. And I think that's the reason at the board, we don't have any questions tonight, because we've already had our
Right.
questions answered. You made adjustments along the way. Really well done, I think, budget planning this year. So thank you to you, Tabitha, but also the budget committee as well.
Of course.
Appreciate it. We do it together.
Yep, well done.
Budget adoption, recommend motion that the Board of Education adopt the budget for the 25-26 school year, in the amount of, give me the exact number there, $80,470,116 as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, everyone.
Recommend motion that the Board of Education approve the personnel report as presented.
Make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Recommend motion that the Board of Education approve the administrative leave of absence for employee number 00712 as presented.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Clerical substitute approval rate, recommend motion upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools to appoint employee at a substitute rate of $22 per hour for technical knowledge effective April 9th, 2025 through July 31st, 2025 as presented.
Make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Recommend motion that the Board of Education approve the revised 24-25 school calendar as presented.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Does this have the half day, on it? 'Cause I didn't look at it with the half days.
Yes.
Do we want to add them so that it's done? So,
Just for the elementary.
I'm sorry, what,
It's just for the elementary.
but do we want to add that on here?
Yes.
Right.
It'll be a separate motion. We have another meeting in 2 weeks.
We can do it then. Okay.
Alignment on that, but we can go
Just
with
to
that.
clarify, it doesn't go on that type one.
Okay.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Recommend a motion that the Board of Education move into executive session to discuss the employment history of particular individuals. No board action will take place after executive session.
Make the motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Quick,
Yeah,
right?
so, yeah, thank you, John.
Good.
Good.